Basically, what we are going to talk about are the methods. Like, these are the things that you could have seen mostly in television or in, I don't know, Simpsons or some other shows, because not that many people have actual experience with doing these types of things. These are the things when they bring out, for example, the product, and they sit down and ask questions for from a certain group of customers or from certain group of individuals. Like, do you like this product? How do you feel about this product? Do you think, what are the positives or the negative sides of this product? How, what are your opinions about this product? What are your opinions about the future? How would your opinions change, and or how would your points of view change about the product? You know, these are these types of things that you need them in a way to understand your consumers, in a way to understand the people that you're selling it to. And you can do it one on one with people. You can have deep conversations trying to better understand their point of view or how they feel about it. A great example for this was in the movie Brexit. I don't know if you've seen the movie Brexit, but in the movie Brexit, the main hero, he did something like this, but he did it in a natural environment. And he went into pubs, he went into public, he went there and there and there, and he was asking people like, how do you feel about the European Union? What what would you like to do? What kind of future would you like to see? Who are you mostly afraid of? What is it that scares you the most? Why do you feel bad about this? Or why do you feel bad about that? And when you ask a lot of your people, the people that you wanna deal with, mainly, when once you get their opinion, once you get their point of view on the situation, that is when you can start to create the message or develop the message. And yes, these are things that are supposed to be done in a more controlled environment, in a more professional environment. There are a lot of agencies that are just asking a lot of money for doing these types of tests or for doing these types of questionnaires, so to speak. But you can do it even on your own. You know, I'm not gonna mention all the professional, high class, hundreds, thousands of dollars type of approaches, type of things. You know, for you as an individual, think about finding out the groups. You can have a deep conversation, a psychological exploration with someone with whom it is one on one. You can have a group sit down, so to speak. And at the group sit down, the best thing you can do is to ask for a representative from every group that you want to deal with. That's the best thing you can get if you have, like, if you have middle-aged women, if you have young urban people, if you have elderly people, if you have this and that, and if you can find in some way that your product will influence all of them, or if your product is able to um, be beneficial to all of them or to certain groups of them, try to get that opinion from a lot of those people that are inside of these groups. Always focus on the main group, but you know, there are only few products that are only specially for this type of person or for this type of a person. You know, if you're selling a car or if you're selling a book, chances are a lot of different people gonna be interested in your book. They can have a common hobby or a common profession or a common interest, but they can come from different groups, they can come from different backgrounds, and it's important for you, if you want to understand them, to get the message or to get the information as from many representatives of those different backgrounds of people that could basically buy your product. And what is also great to do is to uh, give out tryouts, so to speak. Like, what you can learn a lot is when you let people try your product, or if you're gonna let them try your service, to see how they react to it, to see what they like about it. Because when you are talking to them and when they are talking to you back, that's a great source of information. But the reality is that once we come in contact with the product, or once we come in contact with the service, our behaviors, or what we thought we would see, or what we thought we could do, or what our ideas and our reality can be different. Our expectations and our approach to the product, once we have it in our hands or once we experience the service, can be completely different. So that is another thing that is important for you to do. Let your people experiment with your product. Let them experiment with the service. And through this type of experimentation, if you let them just do whatever it is that you're selling and let them deal with it, let them experience that, you can learn a lot more from the product. You can learn a lot more about what is it that you can do better. You can learn a lot more about what is it that they like about it. You can learn a lot more about what is it that they expect from the product. Try it. Try it as much as you can, and try it with as many different people that you can, but with different people that are going to be interested actually in your product. That is important. And once you gain all of that data, once you gain all of that knowledge, once you are able to see their different points of view, because that is what you're trying to get. You are trying to get their different points of view, their different expectations, their different beliefs, their different hopes, their different desires, and try to combine them into your product, into your service, and into the advertisement for your product, and the advertisement for your service. Do you get it? Like, I'm gonna say the example with the Brexit movie. In the Brexit movie, the main hero, he was going around and he was asking people like, what is your biggest fear? What is that? What is this? What is that? And based on the information that he has gained from all those different sources, from all those different conversations, he went out and made a big public statement like, there are gonna be millions of refugees coming into England, and Turkey is gonna join the European Union, and be afraid, and they are gonna destroy our NHS. Like, he did it in a negative way, in a deeply negative way, but he was able to kind of get all the information, get all their fears, get all their desires for safety, or what they want to get their hands rid of, like what they want to have, away from their lives, what they don't want to deal with. He did this. He did what you need to do, but he did it in a negative way. He did it in a destructive way. For you to be successful at it, you need to do it in a productive way. You need to not just scare people, but it's better if you inspire people. So, but just to rewind, conversations, deep conversations, one-on-one, conversations with groups, with large groups, with different backgrounds, but with groups that are interested in your product, and experimentation. Let them experience the service, let them experience the product, and let them learn and see how they react, how they feel about it. What do they want to maybe have better? What can you improve? What message is mostly important to them? What influenced them the most? What inspired them? Focus on that. Those are really valuable informations. We are going to talk about the use of psychology when it comes to advertisement. And for you to be successful, you need to first kind of get into the basics, or get into the knowledge of understanding first. Advertisement in itself is not just slogans, it's not just pretty women on billboards and try me, come on, buy my stuff. No, advertisement in itself is a form of communication, but it's a form of communication that needs to be specifically designed for your group, for the group of people that you're talking to. And what this means, that you need to use the culture in a way, use the values, use the world that your people live in, the people that you're talking to, and use the characteristics that can define their experience, or define the internal world, or characteristics that can define their desires or maybe fears, and all of those things. And you can do it with artifacts, you can do it with body language, you can do it with language in itself, and the specific words of language that are common for your unique people. But you need to do it in a way that they would feel that it will be relatable for them, that they would get it, that they would get your message, but not just like hear it, understand it, but actually like get the point that you are trying to bring across, or get the benefit that you are trying to sell them, like the life improvement that you are trying to give to them. Like they need to understand it and relate to it, to understand that it's part of their life that can become better, and it's really important for it to become a part of their life. It cannot be just part of someone's life that's somewhere over there, like this unique, this, like it needs to be really relatable. That is the only word that I can truly find. But for it to actually have success, or have a chance for success, first you need to have 3 components for your advertisement that you need to be clear about. First, you need to know what is your goal. Like what are you trying to do? Are you trying to inform them about the new product or about the new service that is on the market? Are you trying to create a positive relationship and bring back or bring in more people to get to know you? And once you gain that position, are you in a position to call them into action because they know you and you are a well-known brand, and there is no need to build a rapport with your group or with your people. Once you are clear about the goal of your message, you need to clearly, deeply understand the product or the service that you are actually selling. You need to understand it from the point of view of the customer and from the point of view of the market, to see in which way is your product or in which way is your service better or unique or strategically important for your customers? Like, what can you do for them that the other side maybe cannot do? That is really important. And it's really important also to know how you can improve their lives. And once you know, like, what is the goal of your advertisement, what is the product, once you know the unique benefits and understand, like, the emotional experience that people will gain from your product, then you need to focus, like, who are the people that you're talking to? What is the group that should receive your message? And this is a big part of marketing in itself, when you are trying to define the unique market for your own product. And this is different for every other product, and this is different for every other service, so it's hard for me to kind of pinpoint to just one group. For example, hunting gear. When you are trying to sell a hunting gear, you know exactly who you're going to talk to. You are going to talk to mostly to men, fathers, mostly from countryside, middle income, middle-aged people who love to go out, who love to experience the outdoors, and all of those things create a smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and more specific group of people that you're trying to get your message across, to tell them. And it's all of those three parts: the goal of your advertisement, the product that you're selling, and the group of people that you're selling it to. They all create a unique bond that serves the structure for your message, that creates the structure for your advertisement. To talk about the psychology of advertisement, but first let's talk about what is actually advertisement in itself. Advertisement is a form of communication that is aimed at a specific target group, that is aimed at a specific group of people that you want to influence in a way. And for the advertisement to have a chance to at least be successful, you need to know, like, who are the people that you're selling your product to. These can be young people, this can be more elderly people, this can be children, this can be single people, this can be young people from urban area with high school diplomas, this can be single mothers from countryside with, I don't know, death or something like that. You can really make it as specific as it needs to be for your product or for your service that you have that is unique to you. And in a way, what you want to do with the advertisement is not just sell the product, just do it, just buy me, you want to be more open, more authentic. What you're trying to do is basically create a relationship in a way with them, because what you're trying to do is influence their point of view, influence their opinion that they might have about your product, influence their habits, like the things that they do every day. You want to do all of those things in order to take them into action, to make them do the thing that you want them to do. But it's not just come here and buy my stuff. It's a long-term process of all of those different things that are part of the communication, that are part of the relationship, so to speak. And this is when we talk about 3 different things that advertisement can do for you. Like, You can have advertisement that is informative. Great new story. Elon Musk is opening a brand new company when he's gonna sell you solar boats. Something like that. It is a form of advertisement. And, to buy a ship that runs on solar and on electricity and so on, it can be a great product. So, but you are not being forced into buying it. You are not like, hey. You are just being informed about, look, we have something new on the market. That's one way that advertisement can serve you. A different way is when you are trying to remind them about something that is already out there. Oftentimes this can be seen with, for example, cars. When you have a car that it's on the market for maybe a year, maybe 2 years, but you need to spice it up. You need to kind of bring in more people. So you can find advertisement that is going to be like, which this new car you can buy it for this, and you will get this, and buy it as quickly as you can. And if you're gonna buy it in the next, I don't know, 2 hours or 2 weeks, we're gonna give you a 20%, down cut. Like, you don't have, you're gonna save 20%, and so on, so on, so on. Like, that's somewhere in there. Because advertisement in itself, it can do 3 things. It can inform you about the new product that is on the market. It can remind you about something that you knew was on the market, but it's not doing so great, so people need to kind of get into it more. And number 3 is the persuasive advertisement. And this, in a way, is the job of advertisement, or this is the goal. These are the 3 things that you want to accomplish, or that you can do with your marketing. First, you can inform people about the new product or about the new service that is on the market. Oftentimes this is just, come by, see us. But this is the 3rd form. This is the call to action form of advertisement. So you can inform them, you can create a positive relationship with them, or you can call them to action. You have to choose one of those 3 things. Do you want to inform them about your product? Do you want to create a positive relationship that they are supposed to have with your product? Like, this is what we have. Look at this. This is the great things that we can provide you with. Or do you want to call them to action? Like, come by, see us. Come and you can try our new product. Come on and, experience the services that we can provide to you. And you have to think about what are you trying to do with your advertisement? What message are you trying to tell them? Because when you have a brand new product from a company that it's not so well known, or from a freelancer, or from whoever who like it's just getting out there, your main goal would be to inform them, because they don't know you. They don't have a positive relationship with you because they don't have the experience to build on that. Like, you're a new cat over here. Like, what are you trying to do? Why should I trust you? So the first thing you need to do, you need to inform them. You need to give them the positive side that you can provide them with. You need to give them your unique benefits that they can achieve or they can gain from you. Next, once you are on the market, once you are like a bit more established on the market, like once people know about you, then you can focus on creating the long-term positive relationship, which is really important. It's about the openness. It's about the trust building relationship aspect of advertisement. When you want to improve the awareness about the brand, about the existence of the brand, like when you want to get the word out in a much bigger way, that's when you focus on creating a positive relationship. And the last part is when you are a well-known brand, when you are someone that people know a lot about, and when you are not trying to inform them, when you are not trying to like yes, you are doing it, but your main goal of action is to bring them in, is to call them into action. Like, come on, try our new burger that we have for you, our new special offer. Try our new car, like get into it, get into action. Because you've established rapport, like you establish the information, you establish the connection, so they know what they can expect from you. And once you've built enough of this positive relationship in a way, this brand awareness, this strength of your brand, then it is much easier to get them on board and to sell them your stuff, So this is the job of advertisement. But what is your job when you are trying to be useful or be successful with it? You really need to be honest with you about where are you at this like 3-step experience or so on. Like, because oftentimes people want to jump ahead. They just want to buy my stuff, buy my stuff, but they don't know you. Like, don't skip ahead. Like, if you're beginning, if you're starting out, just focus on informing them. Give them as much and honest and great information that you can. Once you established your position on the market, you can expand on the market. That's when you focus on building the long-term positive relationships. Like, yes, we have a great service. Yes, this is what we can do for you. Yes, here we are. Get to know us better. All of those things, like being open and truthful and showing them what you can do for them, basically. Once you establish that, once you gain a bigger position on the market, then it is the best time to call into action. Get them on board. Come on, buy my stuff. Come on, get into it. You know me. You know what I am. You are on board with me. So don't force it. Don't try to skip ahead, and you will get it. You will get there. Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about the personalities of the receivers. First and foremost, every personality, every person is unique. Everyone is an individual who has his own personality. So just take this as a group of common traits, so to speak. First, you can have a receiver, you can have a consumer who has a balanced personality, who has a more peaceful personality, someone who is able to regulate his behavior, his emotions. Oftentimes he has control over his emotions. Next, you can have a more spontaneous type of personality, someone who has high mental energy, someone who is really there, someone who is also down with the flow, so to speak. Like, they accept their decisions. Once they make a decision, they will deal with it. You can also have a more down personality, someone who has maybe more negative emotions, someone who maybe is a more sadder person. For people like this, oftentimes it takes a longer time to decide what they want to do, what they want to buy. They oftentimes use rational arguments. They will think about it a lot if it's really important for them. And you can also have dynamic personalities, people who have positive relationships to change, who have positive relationships to something that is new, something that can bring a great experience. And we have to understand is when we have a product that we want to offer to the market, oftentimes if we see it from the eyes of the consumer, there are different traits that can motivate different people. You can have people who are motivated mostly by safety and comfort. That's a big group. Do you have a product that focuses mainly on safety and comfort? For example, when we talk about cars, are you Volvo? Are you a Volvo company? Do you push the reliability and the safety as your most important traits of your product? There are also people who love control, who love order and control. And maybe you have a product that is specifically designed for someone who likes to have things under control, someone who likes to have his order. Maybe it's a product that they will put together themselves, something that they can repair themselves, something that they can learn and know about, everything about the product. You can have a product that is focused mainly on the social situation. This is for people who like to have fun, who like to enjoy activities with other people. You know, you can have a product that is based around that, around the outdoors, around the sports, around the activities, around the fun experiences. You know, you can have product that can help people develop their own creative skills, push them forward, allow them to shine, allow their personalities to develop into something better. And you have to think about it. If you are selling a product, like what kind of personality will mostly be interested in your product? And once you are able to pick that specific personality, then you can adjust your advertisement for that specific consumer. You can highlight the specifics that this type of personality will mostly inspire to or will benefit from. Okay? Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about the personality of receivers and their selectivity that they have. First, personality. There are a lot of different people and everyone is unique in their own way. So what we are talking about are common traits that people might have, common values. What I want to say is that for a big group of people, for different groups of people, different traits in product are the most important ones. First, you can have safety. There are big markets and big products that just talk about how we can make your life safer, how we can make your cars safer, how we can make your house safer. You know, how we can make the toys for children safer, the environment safer. And this can be an important trait, this can be an important part of the product. If you're selling a product that is focused on safety, that can play a big role when it comes to advertisement. Second, we can have people who are focused mostly on control, who like to have everything just under their control, to do things right, to know what belongs where, and don't be sloppy, don't be bad, don't live not good results or performance or things like that. Like they desire the perfection in a way. And you can have a product that is focused mostly on the order and control. If they have things under control, the things are in order and everything is where it's supposed to be. This can be done by great design. This can be done through great simplicity of the product, maybe. That they can work on that product themselves, that they can repair that product themselves, that they can build sometimes the product themselves. That can be a big important trait. Or the control of the product, that it is easy to control, easy to understand, that it won't break down or create chaos in their life. Control, that is number 2. Number 3 is care, in a way. How we care about other people, how we care about others, how we care about ourselves, the intimacy of our relationships, the importance of a relationship, the special person in our lives, that uniqueness, that bond that we can create with someone. Sometimes there are products that can be focused mostly just on that specific part of life, of one's personal life. Next, we can have a trait that is focused mostly on creativity and experience, in a way, to let people to let them experience something new, to open the doors into a more unique life, to let them grow as personalities, let them develop their own skills, let them become something better, let them charge for the boundaries of their own personal life or of their own personalities. That can be an important trait of a product as well. And number 5 is it's friendship, in a way. It's the connection, it's the relationship, not with a unique special person, but with the society as a whole. What your product represents for that person and for his connection with the wider society, or with his own people, with his own friends, with his own co-workers and, people in his social circle. That can also be an important trait for some people. Like they can see that as a highly important part of their life. And these 5 traits create their unique approach to life when it comes to these different personalities. And this unique approach to life also plays a big part when it comes to advertisement. Because people will choose their own medium. People will choose their own specific ways how they could receive the advertisement from you. Like, where are you gonna find these people? How are you gonna talk to them? What kind of a channel are you going to use to approach that specific group? And all of this plays a big part when it comes to advertisement. And once you have chosen the right channel, the right form of communication, it takes their own unique their own unique approach creates the own stance when it comes to advertisement. Like, what they are able to take from the advertisement, that is important for them. This is different. This is different for every group. This is different for every personality. But you have to create the ad in a way that will show them, or that will talk to their unique sides of their personalities. If you want to talk to creative people, show them something that can help them grow, but find them at places where people like that would meet with each other. If you want to talk with people who want to succeed, who want to have things under control, who want to be the best, find places where you can find these people and find ways how you can talk to these people. Use the language that they will understand. Also, when you want to have when you want to sell a product that is focused mostly on safety, that is focused mostly on responsibility, find people who are going to have their own desire for safety. But you have to understand that all these people, they look at the world in different ways, and you will, when you want to talk to them, you have to use different languages, you have to use different medium, you have to use different channels of how you're going to approach to them, and you have to show them different values that will speak to them, that will be important for them. Because every personality has its own self-image. Every personality has its own idea about themselves, like what's my lifestyle, what is important for me, what do I want to achieve in life, where I want to go, what I want to do, who I want to be. And your product needs to meet that self-image. It needs to support that idea of a personality. Because our decisions are our extensions of who we are. And if they want to, or if they should choose your product needs to play into their lifestyle. Your product needs to play into their value system. Your product needs to be in line in what they are or what they want to achieve in life. You know? So focus on the group that you want to talk to and try to make it as unique and specific for them. Not just the product, but also the communication, the form of communication. Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about the consumer. And we can have basically two types of consumers. We can have a consumer that buys for his own personal needs, or we can have a consumer who is buying for the company. You know, we can have a business to business market, or we can have a business to consumer market. There are few traits, few social demographic preferences that are the most important for us. First, it's his economic activity. Is the consumer someone who is highly active, someone who has high income, or is he someone who has a lower income or part-time active? What type of job does he have? Does he work for the government? Does he works for himself as a businessman, as an entrepreneur? Or does he work for big companies, for somebody else? What kind of education does he have? Is it high school education? Is it university education? Where does the consumer live? Does he live in an urban area or in the countryside? Is he a man? Is he a woman? Is he a child? Is he a teenager? A young professional? Is he married? Does he have already children? Or is he divorced? All of those things create different groups and create different specifics, so to speak. Like, for example, you can have a consumer who is a high income consumer, who works for the government, who has university high education, like high level education, who lives in an urban area. He can be a man or a woman, mostly with one child, maybe two children, and That creates a specific market. You can have a lower type of income personality that has mostly high school education. They live in the countryside. They can have 4 children. It can be a woman with in the middle generation. And this also creates its own specific group. You can have maybe teenagers from Washington or from some big city. But you can also have teenagers from countryside, from Louisiana, and from places like that. And all of those things create that unique mix that you need to work with, that you need to understand when you're trying to reach your consumers, when you are trying to reach your people that you want to sell your product to. But speaking from strictly an economic point of view, you can sell to the upper class, to the 1%. They are all about luxurious, unique, special products, You can sell to the lower upper class. They are all about quality. You can sell to the upper middle class. These are the people who want to join in, who want to belong, who just want to make that step to, be the rich as they can be. So they oftentimes go for products that maybe aren't that expensive, but they will leave a more expensive impression on everyone. You can talk about the lower middle class, and these are people who are already starting to look at the price of a product. Maybe they are buying quality products, but price plays a really important part when it comes to their decision-making process. And lastly, you have the lower class and the lower class. And for these types of people, price plays the most important, price is the most important point when it comes to the decision-making process. Am I going to buy something or not? And there are even people for whom the income level is not stable. Oftentimes they just have part-time jobs and their buying actions, or they buy only when they have the chance. So it's more spontaneous, it's more unique, it's not planned. And this is strictly talking from an economical point of view. And it's up to you, to what kind of a group you want to sell your product, or who is the important part of your advertisement that you're talking to. Hello! In this video we are going to talk about the 4 biggest influences when it comes to the success of your advertisement. Influence number 1 is the experience that people had with your company. If they had negative experience with the product, if they had negative experience with the advertisement, if they had negative experience with the company, negative experience with the customer service, if they see the owner and the lifestyle that he promotes in a negative way, all of those things can play an important role when it comes to the success of your advertisement. Number 2, your competition. You can have a great product and you can have a great marketing, but if you have a competition that can do it better, that they are better at selling their product, you can fail, you can fall behind them. And it doesn't mean that you have a worse product than they have. All it means that they are better at selling that product. And sometimes that is the most important part when it comes to market and the success on the market. Number 3, the quality of advertisement. This means, do you create a marketing message that is relatable to the people who are supposed to see it? Does it fit their own choices, lifestyle choices, values, preferences, personal traits? Does it meet their needs? Does it meet their language? Are you able to understand the people that you are talking to? And are you able to see the world from their perspective? This can play a big role when it comes to the success of your advertisement. And number 4 is not the quality, but the quantity of your advertisement. You can have a great ad, you can have great marketing, all of those things. But if you overdo it, if you put it out there everywhere, if you can see one advertisement and you can see it online, you can see it in the TV, you can see it, you can hear it in the radio, you can see it on billboards. It's just everywhere. You cannot escape from the message. That can have strong negative consequences. So all of those things, these 4 things, they are really important. Did the people had a negative experience before with you? Is your competition better? Are you falling behind your competition? Did you create a good enough message for the people to understand? Do you talk to them in the right amount that it's not too stupid for them to listen to you again and again and again and again, you know? These are important things, and think about them before you put your message out to the people. Hello! So in this video we are going to talk about the social influences when it comes to the success of your advertisement. The first social influence, that is the most important one, is the culture of the people that you're talking to. Because culture creates the boundaries, culture creates the values, culture creates the unwritten rules that people follow. It creates the behavior, it forms the behavior from generation to generation. Symbols play a big part in culture. Traditions play a big part in culture. The subculture, that unique subculture that you're talking to, all of those things play an important part when it comes to the communication and the message that you are trying to bring to the other side. You have to understand the symbols and what do they represent for people. You have to understand the traditions and which traditions are most important ones. How people perceive these traditions. What do they mean for your focus group? You have to understand these things because they give you the boundaries of what you can do with your advertisement. There are great ads that are trying to push the boundaries, maybe touch the boundaries, touch few more sensitive subjects. It's great. You can do it in a way that will force a conversation and maybe bring your message to the masses. Like it's been done before. It's not something that it's terribly wrong. What you cannot do is overstep the boundaries. Overstep the symbols, misuse the symbols, misuse the traditions, disrespect the traditions. These are big no-nos, and you have to be truly aware of what do they represent for your people. The symbols, the traditions, and the culture. These are big things. But the subculture as well. Subculture creates the unique lifestyle of people that you are talking to. Subculture creates the environment that your company should live inside. The subculture creates the image that you should become a part of. A great example could be someone who loves cars, which is a big culture. People who love cars. But there are sports cars and someone who drives German Porsche. And you can already understand that he belongs to the culture. He belongs to the people who love cars. You understand the symbols, you understand the traditions, you understand the desire for being fast. But it already tells you something if someone is a Porsche driver. It's an important part of the subculture, and it gives you a great hint when it comes to the message and the advertisement. But this also is strong for every other market, for every other product or service that you're trying to sell, for every other subculture that you're trying to talk to, that you are trying to understand better and get your message across better in a more productive way. Hello, and in this video we are going to talk about the social influences when it comes to your advertisement. What I'm going to talk about today are the social groups. A social group that a person belongs to. Oftentimes we can use social groups as a form of a reference point. It shows us what should we strive for, or what is the ideal version or the ideal life for somebody like us. And the social group also tells us what is over the limit, like what decisions or where are the financial limitations for people like us. Who are the people like us, and how we belong to those people, like what do we have in common. And this can play a big role if someone wants to be a part of that social structure or part of that social group. Because standing out too much and shaming other people around you is sometimes a big risk when it comes to the relationships inside of that social group. Another part that can influence the consumer, the customer, is his family. His family creates his lifestyle. His family creates his buying decisions. His decision-making process is based mostly around the family and the needs of the family. It is inside the family that you have the talks, or you can make the decision about what should we buy and who should buy it. How are we supposed to use that product? When are we going to use the product? What kind of a product or service are we able to afford? Like, where are our limitations? What can we do with our money? This is a really important part of the decision-making process when it comes to buying and when it comes to desiring something better or something new. Also, what plays an important part is how do we perceive the advertisement, and how do we perceive the different points of view, like how people talk about the advertisement. Do they like it? Do they do not like it? Do they like the company? Do they like the product? All of those things play an important part in our decision making process, and it depends on our personality, like how much are we going to accept that and follow their criticisms or advice, or for every person it's different. Some people, when they hear someone complain about something, they don't want to have nothing to do with it. Other people, you can say whatever you like, they will go for that. They will always do it. So it's different for everyone, but it also really strong motivator. Hello! In this video we are going to talk about the social influences that can affect the success of your advertisement. And the biggest social influence that we are going to talk about today is the social status. Social status helps us create a more unique form of a message. It helps us to understand the receiver of the message in a better way. Because social status and income and the social class, they create a common group that has certain common values, certain common behaviors, certain common ways of expressing themselves, certain common rules for behavior, for life, approach to life basically. You have a different approach to life when you are a poor person, and a different approach to life when you are the 1%, when you are the English upper class. You can already hear it in the voice, like where do you belong, to what social class do you belong. And more from that social class comes a unique lifestyle, a lifestyle that is interconnected with the social class of that specific person, and it influences them, it influences their lives, it influences their behaviors. It's characteristic for that person and for his relationship to the outside world, for his relationship to the society as a whole, to the values that he holds on to. And this can play a major part when it comes to the message of the advertisement and the language that you're trying to use. Understand their lifestyles, understand their social status, their social class, and the dreams and hopes that they may have for that specific social class. Hello, and in this video we are going to talk about opinions and the formation of opinions. Opinions are things that it's much easier to create than it is to change someone's opinion about a product or about a subject. The main two most important ways how we can change someone's opinion is with argumentation, and it is with appeal. Arguments, they create the foundation for the chance to influence someone's opinion about a certain subject. The acceptance of these arguments can help you move forward in that process. Arguments can be factual. We can talk about reason. We can talk about objective arguments that can change someone's point of view. We can also use logical arguments that can make someone show that buying this makes the biggest sense for his situation and for him. But also we can focus on emotions, emotional arguments, why it is a good thing to do or why it is a bad thing to do, you know, to be emotionally invested in that decision. A second way how we can influence someone's opinion is with appeals. To appeal on something, it needs to be supported by the arguments themselves. You cannot appeal to people and have no real basis, have no real argument to support your decision. And we can have rational appeals when we are trying to help people focus on their own self-interests. When someone is choosing between two different products, and we can appeal to his desire to, for example, save more money by showing him the differences and the properties of a product and how it can be better for him by saving him more money. This can be a good appeal. We can also focus on emotions, on creating positive emotions, sometimes even on negative emotions. Focus on fear, on the fear of loss, and how our product can help him prevent that loss. But we can also have moral appeals. More appeals are making the person believe that they are part of a social change, that by buying this product or investing in this company or whatever you do, you help make the world a better place. You help by helping the poor, by sharing the information, the knowledge, by protecting the environment, by recycling, all of those things. When you buy something and they tell you that you support the great good, it is an appeal for you to make that decision, to buy that product. And the value of appeals, or the success of appeals, depends on the personalities of the customers that we are talking to. It depends on their own value system. If someone has a different value system, he's going to reject your appeals. He's going to reject your calls for action. He's going to reject your arguments. And you're gonna lose it. But if someone has a value system that is common with what you're selling, with your arguments, with your appeals to them, they are going to support you and they are going to stand by your arguments and by your decisions. Hello, and in this video we are going to talk about emotions and the creation of emotions. Emotions play a strong part when it comes to our decision-making process. Emotions can be created from seeing different colors, from hearing different sounds, different words, from different images. The collection of all of these stimuli can create a strong emotion inside of a person. Emotions are created outside of our will. We cannot control emotions. Emotions influence our behavior, and oftentimes they are a strong motivator that guides our decision-making process. Under the influence of strong emotions, we create, or we are given the desire to experience something. Oftentimes this can be used for the advertisement of a product. That strong emotions can create our desire to know a product, our desire to experience that service or that product, to experience that special place where people go to, or to drive that fast car, or to eat that great food, or to see that great play. All of those things are created by the desire for experience and the expectation from positive emotions. Emotions have the ability to stimulate our body, to stimulate our organism, to guide our behavior. Positive emotions can play a big role in increasing the intensity of advertisement, in increasing the positive experience from an advertisement. Negative emotions can be used as well. Negative emotions are often used when we are talking about safety, or when we are talking about possibility of loss. If there is a danger that you want to protect people from, oftentimes negative emotions are being used in this type of strategy. Emotional power should not be your only source of influence, but emotional advertisement or emotional strategy can be used when we are talking about products that are nearly similar. When we are talking about high intensity markets where the competition is strong, and if you want to be different from your competition, but everybody knows that the product or the thing or the benefits that you can provide to people are basically the same, that there isn't that that is different about you and the competition. At these types of situation, at these moments, it's great to use emotions and emotional strategy to increase the positive expectations from your product. Hello, and in this video I'm gonna talk about friendship and relationships. These types of relationships, friendships and contacts with other people or with the social world are important for us, for basically every human being that's on planet Earth. We are looking for understanding, we are looking for help and for positive emotional response from these types of relationships. And contacts with other people help us to deal with life situations in a better way. They can increase our feelings of happiness once we feel truly happy, but they can also give us relief in moments of pain, sadness, or disappointment. And connections and relationships with other people also give us a sense of comparison. We can compare ourselves with someone who is basically on our own level, someone who, you know, belongs to the same group as we are. We can compare ourselves. How successful are we? How productive are we? And relationship and friendships with other people also help us learn and deal with life situations. Sometimes there are things that we cannot do on our own, and we need someone to help us get something done, to learn something new. And these types of relationships are supposed to create a trust, a positive emotional bond. And we are looking for people oftentimes who feel like us, who deal with situations or with things like we do. And it is not that we don't want to hear somebody else's point of view, but oftentimes we like to be around people that we can identify with, and we like to be around people that we can expect positive emotional response back. And when it comes to comparison with other people, oftentimes when it comes to negative emotions or negative life experiences, we tend to look down. We tend to search for people who are at worse situations than we are. And sometimes this can help us feel a little bit better about our lives. Sometimes this can help us to see the situation as not as bad as we think it is. But it is our comparison that also helps us to motivate ourselves, to see that there are other possibilities, to see that what we think about, that our life can only be about, like there are more things, that we can be more successful, that we can experience more in life, that we can reach high levels of success, that we can become somebody else and someone more productive. And friendships are important also when it comes to creating the social circle of trust. And you can use that when it comes to advertisement, and you can use that when it comes to marketing to imply or to try your best to create that trustworthy social circle, to find the people that other people believe in and gain their trust. Make sure that they will believe in you as well. And because we live in a social media world, and we live in a world where people get in contact with each other basically all the time. And this it's not just a world of likes and shares and things like that, but it is a world of sharing more from our lives and to looking for new experiences for our lives. And there are people who can create enough trust or can create a large enough following, to really be important. And finding people like that and make sure that they will believe in you and make sure that they will try their best to represent your product or represent the offer that you have to sell. This can be really useful and this can be really important because it gives you the social, I don't want to say social status, but the social trust, so to speak. Like you are someone that they can believe in, So try your best to find people that you agree with, people that you share the same values and lifestyles with, people who can represent your company or can represent your product. Don't just look at the following, don't just look at the people that they're public, Look at what they stand for and look if you can meet with them and identify with that. Hello! In this video we are going to talk about the needs, the usefulness of needs when it comes to advertisement. Every person on planet Earth has needs. We all need some things in order to even survive, to live a comfortable life. We need food, we need water, we need social contact, we need house, we need, different things. Some people desire luxury cars, some people desire great adventures. All of those things that we desire, they come from somewhere. And the needs aren't just something that you just fulfill and it's over. The needs come again and again and again. And we can use this to a great success in advertisement. But to work with needs, we need to understand the process of fulfillment. And it's 5-step process. Step number 1, it's the understanding or it's the feeling of absence of something. It's when we start to understand that we have a need for this or that we have a need for something like that. It's the formation of the need. Step number 2, it's the process of looking for the possible satisfaction for that need. Looking for that possible car that you would like to buy, looking for that dog that you would like to own, looking for that travel destination where you would like to go and travel. It's the finding out process when in the situation. Step number 3, it's the preference process. It's when you are putting out more and more possibilities and you are trying to decide which possibility is best for you. And you can think about your finances, you can think about your personal preferences, you can think about your family and your family situation. All of these things can highly influence your choice. Then there's the step number 4. The step number 4 is the buying process. It's the process of satisfaction, of satisfying your need for that specific product or for that specific service. And after you're satisfied, oftentimes this creates a new space, a new environment for satisfying different needs. That's the step number 5. Because once you're satisfied with that specific need, oftentimes you will desire something different, something more. A great example how advertisement can use this desire, use these needs, is an example when it comes to toys. We all know toys, children play with toys, everyone understands what a toy is. And There was an advertisement that when it came to dolls, baby dolls, and a girl was playing with a doll, ha 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 ha. But then she saw that there was a doll in the TV, like in the ad, and it was the Barbie girl. And you know, Barbie girls are cool. Barbie is, you know, it's something more, and that's how it stimulated her need for that baby doll. She didn't want just a doll to play with. No, she wanted the Barbie doll. And this form of stimulation, this form of manipulation, basically, it's what advertisement is oftentimes about. Of selling people the idea that they can reach for something better. And advertisement plays a big role in this process. First, it's a form of communication that informs the consumer about the possibilities, that informs the consumer about the product. Also, it can show the consumer the clear differences between the product that he has and the product that he can have, the product that we're selling to him. To tell him how this product will satisfy his needs. Why is it better for him? What is so unique about this product? And if he buys into it, he's gonna buy the product, and this need will be satisfied. The question is, who created that need? Was it the advertisement, or was it the desire by the consumer? But, you know, a need can be a really useful tool when it comes to advertising your product. Hello, and in this video we are going to talk about motivation. Motivation is an internal force. It's a mental force that is guiding the behavior of people. And motivation can be understood as everything that is forcing a human into action, that is guiding his behavior, guiding his actions, and it's forming his day-to-day life. Motivation oftentimes comes from the inside of a person. It is his desire to own, his desire to succeed. But in order for the motivation to be strong enough, the consumer, the customer, the person, he needs to see that there is an actual way how he can succeed at his goal. That there is a possibility to reach his goal. And there are ways how he can become successful at his dream. Advertisement oftentimes can come as a form of a motivator, that it's trying to motivate people into action. Or it can sell people the better life, but it's not just the question of the advertisement, but oftentimes people desire the products that are being sold. They desire the benefits of the product. Great example could be hygiene products. Nobody wants to be dirty. Nobody wants to be smelly. Nobody wants to be, ugh. So it's natural that we want to have nice teeth, that we want to smell nice, and all of those things. And the advertisement is trying to motivate us to be better and better and better at this. So it's a good force when it is done for a great or for a better life, for a better purpose, for a greater good. Hello, and in this video we are going to talk about performance. Performance plays a big part of action, the desire for action. And it's your role as a marketing person to inspire people into action. So the performance is the result of the motivation that you have given to them. The trouble is that there are many things that can influence our performance. Our environment strongly influences our performance. Difficult environment can decrease the performance of someone who is really good. Oftentimes your personal skills and talent can be destroyed by negative or unproductive environment. Also, motivation plays a big part when it comes to the performance and the result of performance. Success is the greatest motivator, but we are mostly successful when we are at the mild range when it comes to motivation. If the motivation is too high, there's a high chance that we will burn out. There's a high chance that we will never do it again if we fail. That we're gonna, step aside and avoid those activities that created a strong disappointment. But if we have a motivation that is too small, oftentimes the results will also be bad. And it's the importance of finding the balance, of showing the road to success in a way that it's not too risky, but also not too boring in a way. Like if you are trying to sell people something, you are trying to create a long-term relationship, a long-term positive relationship. And oftentimes the only way how you can achieve this relationship is by the successful experiences that people will have with your product or with your service. And there are oftentimes products and services that require an action from the consumer, that they need to learn something or that they need to be active in a way. And it is important to create something that will inspire them into success, but in a balanced way. Don't overdo it because their performance will decrease, but also don't create something that is boring and uninteresting or too easy for them because they wouldn't care, and later they can possibly blame you for their own failure. For people, this is a common trait. And if we experience a negative emotion, a failure with a product, it is much easier to just blame the product or just to blame the company. So it is important for you to create a product or create a service that will allow them to reach success and be successful and experience positive emotions, but with a motivation that is strong enough, but not too much and not too little. I don't know if you understand me well. What I'm trying to say, like, supercars are a great example. If you are successful driving a supercar, you will feel amazing. But also, if you overdo it and crash, well, you have a problem. If you cannot, if you don't understand the technology, if you are unable to understand how you should drive, something like that, well, you will have high expectations and high motivation. But if you fail at that, chances are you will never sit behind that car, behind the wheel ever again, because you feel like a complete failure. But oftentimes there is also something that if it's too easy or if it's too boring or if the motivation is not strong enough, if you are unable to present them with the desire for amazing experience, that can also be a problem. So try your best to find a balance, and try your best for things not to make them too easy, but also not too hard. And if you find the normal difficulty for people, that's the best way to make them successful, and in the long run have a successful relationship with them. So their performance will help you create a strong bond. Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about the values and the value system. Values are an important part of our personality as people. Values represent our approach to life, but values also represent the meaning behind different objects, the meaning behind different symbols, the meaning for us personally. You can have religious objects that show you their true value for people, for everyone. Like, value isn't something that you can just create. Value is something that is created by the society. Value is something that is created by the culture. Value is something that is created by your life experiences, by your development, by your relationship to an object, and the experiences that you had with that specific object or with that specific thing that you value so much. It's how important it is, how important is something to you, you know, the importance, your personal importance that you feel towards an object. And values can be used when we are talking about the relationship between the product and the person, because we can express our personal values by the products or by the lifestyle that we choose, and these products need to fit that lifestyle. If someone has value for being eco-friendly, you know, for protecting the earth from being just one with the nature, and everything should be just friendly to the nature, you know that he's going to look for certain products that represent these values, that can be, that he can identify with. Also, people who value healthy lifestyle, they're gonna choose different products based on the values that they believe in, and those products will represent the values for them. And this plays an important part in your marketing. This plays an important part in your advertisement, because letting them know that you share the same values that they share, that they believe in, creates a common ground. It creates a bond. But let's talk about, for example, the different values that women and men believe in. There was a research study that tried to find out what are the most typical values that men and women believe in. And for women, first there was equality. Equality is a big word. Equality is everywhere. You know, the desire to be seen as equal. Second, there was opportunity. The chance for opportunity. Number 3 was honesty. Not lying, not manipulating people, just being honest. Number 4 was responsibility. And number 5 was intelligence. For men, it was a bit different. First, there was the logic. Second comes the professional experience, the skill, the knowledge, the personal know-how that people have, their professional ability to create something valuable. Also, responsibility was a big value for them, friendship, but also activity. The ability to be the man of your life, so to speak. Like someone who does the things, someone who isn't just looking for help from other people. Someone who takes the bull by the horn, so to speak. And understanding these values can give you an important step when it comes to creating the bond. So I hope you will use it for the greater good. Hello, and in this video we are going to talk about attention. Attention is the most important part of successful advertisement. And you can have attention that is willing, like people are trying their best to pay attention to you, like they are trying their best to focus on what you're saying. And you can have attention that is not stimulated by their own desire to listen to you, but it's being forced from the outside world. It's being forced by all the stimuli and all the advertisement that is, connecting with them. That they can see it everywhere. And no matter what they do, even if they don't want to pay attention to it, they are forced to pay attention to it. But to create an advertisement that is worthy enough of their attention, you should often try to do something that is interesting, something that is unexpected, something that can help them be more skillful, or give them new information about their hobbies or about their interests. Give them what they want, but also make it sparkly and amazing. Try to create something that will stand out on its own. Something that would just be fascinating to just look at. And also, your advertisement highly depends on the environment where you're gonna put your advertisement. Because attention is only something that we can have to a certain degree. If there are too many adverts going in and out, and there is no real place or real space for you, chances are that no matter how good you're gonna make it, they are not gonna pay too much attention to you, because you're just gonna be just one thing in a block and no one's gonna care about you. Also, our capacity as people, we have a limit. And if you overdo it with too many facts, or if you overdo it with too many stimuli, you can sort of burn the attention of people. And this is the same with motivation. Like, try your best to be in the middle. Don't overdo it, but also don't become boring and uninteresting and just annoying. And the quality of attention depends on the quality of the stimuli that you are able to show to people. And oftentimes we can only deal with 5 to 9 waves, or 5 to 9 subjects that can force. Like, if there are too many things to deal with, we are not going to pay attention. So it needs to be simple. But if there are 5 to 9 subjects that we are supposed to listen to, or that we are supposed to understand, if there are just few things that make things interesting, and it's not a web that is connected this to this to this to this to this and this and this, and you feel like you're at university and you're like looking at the biggest table, or biggest board that you've ever seen, and you don't know what the hell is going on. Like, try your best to keep it simple, stupid. Just keep it simple, keep it interesting, and make it relatable to people. But to gain someone's attention, make it amazing in a way. Make it so that they will be surprised to even see something like that. How can be something like this even possible? And oftentimes we want to pay attention to something that we feel invested in personally, something that is important for us as people. So try to use that to, build your own image and build your own advertisement. Hello, and in this video we are going to talk about attention again. And what we are going to talk about is the ability for people to accept your message or to pay attention to your message. Like 60 to 65% of all the information that we are able to accept or that we deal with in our lives come from our eyesight, from the things that we see. 10% of all the information comes from the things that we hear, and also 10% comes around from the things that we can touch. The rest comes from other sources or from other ways how we can interact with the world. And this plays an important part when it comes to the ability for us to remember things, or when it comes to the ability for us to understand things. And it can be a really bad sign if you create an advertisement that is truly hard to remember. And for your advertisement to be easy to remember, first it needs to be clear. The information that you're sharing with the people need to be clear of misunderstandings. It needs to be clear of undefined subjects. It needs to be clear of a chaos when it comes to logical presentation of your information. You need to have a clear idea about what you're trying to tell people. You need to have a clear idea about how you're trying to tell it. And you need to have a clear idea about who you're talking to. And if you don't have 100% idea about how much you want to tell in the advertisement, if your images and your words and the other sources of sound, like if it doesn't make sense together, it can create great chaos. So for your advertisement to be easy to understand, first it needs to be simple. It needs to be truly simple. It needs to be brought down to the level of a 5th grader. Imagine that you're telling or that you're speaking to little children, to 10-year-old, 12-year-old children. That's how simple your message needs to be. You need to have order in the message so that you will go from the most important parts to the less important parts. You need to tell it in a way that will truly shine out the importance of your message. And you need to create something that will stimulate their desire to listen to you. Make it funny, make it interesting, make it unique. Have a little gameplay, have something that it's gonna be, that's clever. Something positive. And it is important for you to create an advertisement that it's gonna be easy to understand, but it's also gonna be easy to remember. And oftentimes strong emotional connection to stimuli, strong emotional connection to the experience can help you create things that are much more easier to understand and much more easier to remember. Hello, and in this video we are going to talk about colors and the use of colors in communication, in advertisement. Colors can have different results, or colors can have different goals. We can use colors to create a mood. We can use colors to create a feeling, sometimes affection. We can use colors to get the attention. We can use colors to increase the importance. We can use colors to make things more easier to remember. We can use colors as symbols. And we can use colors to associate them with the overall message. And colors can create inside of us the feelings of warm, but also of cold. So let's talk about each specific color. The first color that we are going to talk about is the color red. Red is a strong color. Red is a color of activity. Red is a happy color, but it's also the color of passion, of strong emotions. It can be the color of anger, but it can be also the color of love. It can be the color of dynamic. It's a color of power, of confidence. Oftentimes it can be the color of egoistic importance sometimes. Like it's about the person. It's about the ego of the person and the power of the person. Next, it's blue. Blue is a happy color, and it's the complete opposite of red. It's the color of peace. It's the color of quietness. It's the color of respect in a way, of confidence, of harmony, of sensitivity. Blue is used to stimulate the brain, to stimulate the intellectual abilities of people. Red color is oftentimes used to stimulate the emotional parts for people. But blue can be also associated with coldness. It can be associated with distance, but also with purity. Next color is the color green. Green represents nature. It represents peace. It represents stability. It represents meditation. It represents internal peace. It's something that is constant, something that we can depend upon in the long term. It creates inside of us the feeling of harmony, of security in a way. It's associated with self-respect and stability. Next color is the color yellow. Yellow is a strong and open color. It can be associated with the sun. It's often associated with energy, with warmth, with shining out, with being in the spotlight, so to speak. It's an optimistic color. It's a color of strong communication. It's a color of personal freedom, but in a responsible way. It's a color of happiness, we can say. Next is the color orange. Orange is in a way kind of like the color yellow, but it's more grounded color. Orange can be associated with wealth, mostly darker orange. We can talk about the brownish gold type of orange. Like it can be associated with abundance of money. It's associated with warmth, with energy, with life, but it's a more secure color. It's a more grounded color. Next color is the color of purple. And purple is a really unique color and a really specific color because it can be associated with many different things. It can be associated with nobility. It can be associated with the higher cause or the the greater good. Like, it can be associated with wealth, but from a respectable point of view, in a way. It's a color that is associated a lot with something that seems difficult to understand. It can be a sad color, but also an intensive color. But what is most amazing about purple is that it is oftentimes associated with a spiritual world. I don't know if you have Christian background or not, but there is a tradition that when Christ himself is supposed to be dead, that we put purple color on the cross so that we don't see his body. And purple color has this unique connection to the spiritual world, to the world where money and objects do not matter, but it's about the person himself. Next color is the color white. And white color is the color of purity. It's a clean color. It's the color of peace. It's the color of innocence. It's a calming color, a color of elegance. But it also can be a color of emptiness, in a way, of something that is hard to express. It's a color of silence. For example, in China, white color is oftentimes associated actually with death. The absence of life, basically. Next is black. Black is a color that is oftentimes associated with grief. It's a dark color. It's the color of the negative. It's the color of the dark magic, of the aggression. But it's also the color of power and the color of elegance. We can associate negative emotions with black color. We can associate grief. We can associate grief, fear, anxiety. We can associate depression with the black color. And it's a heavy color, but it also can be used as a form of an elegant and powerful color.